Greetings and welcome to Prosperous Universe. Today we're going to be building up a new base that we've been planning. So, what I've done is I've sent out 2 ships to CR 911 Bravo. The reason for this is this planet has halite crystals, magnesium and nitrogen. Now, nitrogen we don't really need right now. It's not something we use, although we do sell it to some of people from Bertha. Halite crystals, we get some of those from WN599 Alpha, but not a lot, and we'd have to add another extractor there because we're currently using that entirely for iron. Magnesium, we also use that to make the PG on Bertha. So I definitely want to get a extractor running for the magnesium. But today we're working on a bigger corporation project, part of multiple companies working together to produce something big. And what we're going to do is we're going to make. Our goal is to make PG. PG? EPO. So, to do that, we start off with halite crystals. So we need to harvest the halite crystals here, because the problem with the other base as well is the WN is it also requires INF, and that is really expensive to upgrade that base. So we do that base upgrades very rarely, and what we would need to build is going to be stupidly expensive. So instead, we're here for this project. We're going to be building another extractor here to pull out halite. We shipped in the water, running through a chemical plant to make chlorine. The chlorine we can then push through a polymer plant, which we already have 4 over on Bertha, but we're going to build some dedicated ones here. Along with chlorine, along with some carbon, hydrogen and oxygen, we'll produce EPO. That's our plan. So we can then run our plants, make the EPO, sell that off to the organization, to the group, and that will then make the bigger project. We'll be involved in further parts of it most likely, but that's the short-term plan. And today we get started on it. So all the ships are here, all the resources are here. We just got to set down our little base. So if you want to know where that base is, by the way, on the map, it is here. So WN is there. Promontory is here. Bertha is there, and just down here is where CR 911 is. Okay, let's bring up a base building screen. So I want to start a base. We have all the material in stock from the Ranalobian, and the kayak is also here with other resources for making parts of the base. Okay, Ranalobian, let's get you made. Let's put you on the North Pole for no reason at all, but we can. Base has now been made. Excellent. View that base. Look at that base. It's glorious, and it's always glory. Yes. Okay, so there's a whole bunch of things I want to build. If you look at my little sheet here, I want to build 2 chemical plants, 1 extractor, and 3 polymer plants. The thing is, the polymer plants can't work until the chemical plants have done their job, and the chemical plants can't work until the extractor's done its job. So rather than wasting rations and other stuff, I'm just going to build the extractor. Then we'll come back when the extractor's done its first run, and we'll build the chemical plants. When they've done their first run, we'll come back and build the polymer plants. So it's going to be a little bit of a jump between those sections. Okay, let's get started then. Under construct, pop you over here, and we're going to look at resources. So we want an extractor. Oh, I haven't put the resource onto the planet yet. That, yes. There's the planet's resources, and there's my ships. Boop. Empty ship number 1 with all of the prefabs in it. This has pretty much all the prefabs and that we own right now on this one planet, on these ships. Everything is here, so hopefully no one raids our ship. That's not a thing that can happen in the game, but nonetheless. Let's pop all this over here, and then we'll empty the second ship as well, so all the stuff's over here. And the trusses, there we are. And empty the second ship as well. Space kayak needs to be emptied. I am aware that if I move the stock to the other side of the screen, it would be so much easier. There we go. Right, both ships are empty, and the base is now full, so we can start building stuff. Right, so we're going to want resources. First thing we want to build is an extractor, which requires 60 pioneers, so we want to make sure we have a pioneer habitation. Pioneer hab. Boom. Resource extractor. Double check this planet has resources as solid. Its minerals are solid, good. So we want to drop down an extractor. Boom. 1 extractor. And that's all we're building for now. Let's get the extractor up and running, and it needs to produce its first batch. I don't have a production screen just yet, so prod. CR. There you are. We'll set up a screen in a few moments. We'll set up the screen when we get to the next stage. Anyway, new order. Halite crystals. Right, and to run... Boom, boom. If we bring up... Prometer. 1 second. I just need this. I need a product screen. So we're making CL, which uses halite crystals. It uses 3 halite crystals, and we want to have 2 chemical plants, so we need to have 6 halite crystals ready for the first batch. Okay. And that will produce 8. And it takes a day, 50 to make 8. Okay. Pioneers at 51%. Why are you at 51%? Didn't I not bring you resources? I think I brought everything apart from... I brought something I didn't bring in, but I didn't have it available at the time. Oh, that's not what I wanted. View base. Population. Overalls. Yes, I haven't unloaded those. But yeah, overalls and coffee, those are on their way in from somebody else. That's great for me. That means I'll bump it up. That's fine. That'll get up. So get that production running. It's the shortest one we can do. Halite crystals is our target. Boom. Production should now be underway. Everything's behind everything else. There it is. So that's running. It's going to be day 50, but I'm going to get the overalls and the coffee should be arriving in about 2 hours or so. So that'll be us up and running there. And we'll be good. Okay, so I'll be back when the highlights have done, but it shouldn't be really a few hours, because this base can produce 15 a day. So it should be like 10 hours, 12 hours before the 8 is done, once the overalls and coffee arrive. And we'll be up and running. So the next thing we'll do is we'll build the chemical plants, and then we'll be building the polymer plants of that. So I will see you in a few minutes. Okay, well while we're here, we're waiting for the ships to do the thing and move some goods around. Let's get a thing set up. So we've got an outpost buffer here. We have 2 empty spaces. So let's might as well put them in here and get everything started. So the first thing we're going to do is bring out our inventory for 911 over here. Pop that in there. Perfect. And bring our production for 911 over here as well. There we go. So they're up and running. So we'll have the extractors there, we'll have polymer plants, and we'll have chemical plants. So we need more room. So this probably won't be a permanent place for this buffer unless we move... Actually, we can move storage around a little bit, I suppose. Bring that down to 3 columns. And that to 3 columns. And that's, yeah, there's plenty of room to fit in the whole thing there. Okay. We've got a lot of extra prefabs here we won't be needing. Based on my calculations, we'll have 104 BBH and needed less than we need. We only need 18 in total, so we've used some already. So I think what we could do is we can look at this planet and see if there's any projects in motion. There's a local market running. There is a local market already there. Okay, what other projects this planet might have? The local market's done. Planetary Admin Center is a big project. I don't think it needs one, but let's take a look anyway. Yeah, that's not even being started, so we could contribute to that maybe later on. If this planet needs a government, I don't know. I don't even know. Hang on a minute. It has fees, so maybe that's an option later on. And the Chamber of Commerce, that will give a nice boost. And there's not one here right now. So how much is it being done? Oh, actually, quite a lot has already been done. All the SPs are in the solar panels. Yes. Most of the LTAs, all of the LSEs, most of the LDEs, and most of the and all of the LBHs are done. Well, LTAs and LDEs. LDE we can't touch. We need all the LDEs that are in stock, so we can't do the LDEs. We literally don't have a spare one. But the LTAs, we have loads of spares. So let's put the LTA. Oh, L's. My mistake. These are L's. The LDE and the LTA. LDE. We have 16 LDE and 26 LTA. We can actually afford both of them. You know what? Someone's putting a lot of others as well. Let's actually contribute towards that. Both of those. Maybe we can help out a little bit. We don't really... I don't even know how to make the BMF and the BWF, the basic workstation and the basic mainframe. I don't even know how to make them. So we're not going to do those. But I could definitely contribute the LTAs and the LDEs towards that thing. And we'll benefit in the long run anyway, because it'll boost production. Hopefully it'll boost production towards chemicals, which is what we're working on. But if it doesn't, if it just does pioneers in general, or when the other specifies, at least it helps someone out, right? Yeah, let's contribute. Boom. There we go. little bit country. Who's actually been on it? Maximum 0 and shared drinks did a lot of it. Ah, well, we do what we can, and hopefully the other 2 pieces can come in soon and we can actually get some movement going there. Alright, excellent. 36 minutes until the BD is done. Nice. Alright, so what I'm waiting for right now is this highlight to be completed. I also have the ship en route, which is about 3 hours away. It's being brought in by a third party member, so I'm waiting for it to arrive. And we'll be up and running at full speed. So that 14 hours might actually be more like 6 hours or so. When that highlight's done, that's enough to kickstart the chemical plants, which I'll then drop those down, and we'll be back for that shortly. We should actually look at setting up a base buffer. I can't really get a base buffer in here, but I don't really need these screens, these top ones. So what I'm going to do is, for WN, I'm going to remove WN from there, and I'm going to drop in there bases, view base for the CR, show me the population window. I'm going to drop that in there, because that's really the one we care about, is the population window. And we can bring that down to there, and that actually shows most of what we need to see on both windows. Yeah. So we can, if we build more bases in the future, these 2 windows can be swapped out for their base view. So we don't really need this. This we can see quite easily on other areas. And if it gets to a point where we need to see this, we can always build a dedicated screen towards this. So that's an option for us to look at in the future. But this is more important. We can see their basic overalls and caffeine native infusion are currently offline. So we're just waiting for those to be delivered. Alright, I think we're good for now. So the Cough and OV have arrived a few hours ago. And if we just go look at the production chart for the outpost, which I've set up the charts now, so we're all good. Remember we set up the screen, so so a few hours ago the Cough and the OVE both arrived. The production went from 1 day 30 minutes to 12 hours 33 minutes for a small batch, and so I've waited a bit longer. It's now the next day, and we have our first batch of halite in stock, so we can now go and get our chemical plants up and running. So 8 halite. 8 halite produces 1 chlorine. 3 halite in the system right now. 3, 6, 9. So we can run 2 chemical plants. 3 and 6. Let's just check that with our sheet. Chemical plants is 2, and that will produce 2 chemical plants can happily produce 2 chlorine every 13 hours. So that should equate to roughly 3 a day, based on the numbers we got here from our sheet for something else. I'm not quite sure that number adds up with the 13 hours here, but I think that's because this is a base value and it's not including the fact we've got Cough and PWO running, and we'll have PT and EXO. Don't appear to have any EXO in. Well, that's not hard to ship if we need to ship it. Yeah, so let's go get our 2 polymer plants installed. But to do the 2 polymer plants, to do the 2 polymer plants, just checking here. Yeah, EXO. To do the 2 polymer plants, we will be needing to run some settler buildings. So let's go and build some up and running. So CR, view base, construct. Just double check here. A polymer plant. Polymer plant. No, not polymer plant. Chemical plant. Chemical. Don't get the wrong one because that'll be really annoying. Chemical plant. Chap, here we go. It requires 60 settlers. So that will require 2 of the habs. That's fine. It will require 2 of the habs. 2 of the hab 2s, the settler habs, because they hold 100 people each. And we need 40 pioneer spaces, and we have exactly 40. So we don't need to buy any other habs, so just the 2 settler habs. So settler hab 1, hab 2. Okay, that gives us 200 ability, and then over here in a chemical plant we should be able to build 1, 2. There we go. Chemical labs are up and running, and unfortunately I do need to get exoskeletons out here. Problem these ships are absolutely full, you just don't realise. So now we should be able to run 2 runs of halite, because I brought water earlier, and these should be able to happily produce, and we want to make sure that we have 8, was it? Halite 8. So we want to make sure that we use up only a small amount, which is 3 and then 6. Good, so 2 runs of the lowest value, which will take a day 13. Wow. Yeah, day 13. Boom, boom. They take a day 13 each. Let's just run those up forever. So they should. So every day we use up almost a full amount of the allies. So and that produces every 12 hours. So that is good. We can then expand our chemical plants quite significantly in the future, without having to buy any extra extractors, which is always good. This number's going to go down a fair bit actually when we bring in the exoskeletons. So that's going to be quite good as well. We'll use up a lot. We'll use up the ally a lot faster. Oh. So next thing to do is get this up and running and get the polymer plants in place. And I believe my ships have just landed. Great. So they're going to drop off. They're going to drop off their cargo. Let's actually do that now while we're here. All inventories, please. And the cargo for you is going to be in Bertha. So drop off the rations because we were running a little bit low on rations. And the coffee, because that was entirely out actually. Drinking water and some neon to make some stuff later on. And you and the space kayak can drop off your rations, your coffee, because again we were completely out of coffee as well. Some of the supplies like coffee ran out, mostly down to the fact that we were just the ships were busy getting ready for the build. So there we go. Is there anything on either of you to bring back home? No for you. And looks like no for you. Let me just check the production charts, make sure nothing's going to end soon. You've got a day left on that. And there's nothing in here to actually bring home, no. And outposts for WN, you've got a day on yours as well. So nothing's going to be ready for a day. I'm going to bring the... I'm going to leave the kayak at WN for now. Just because I feel we'll be bringing back we can bring in the BDs and stuff like that back. But I might as well wait a little bit longer. Unless we need to BD. I'll leave them there for now. We'll probably bring the BDs and some BBHs back to Prometer very shortly. Actually, no. There's a massive shortage in iron. So if I grab as much of the iron as we can, which is a 50 load, and bring you back to Prometer, because Prometer has a massive iron shortage right now, and we'll just bring you back at a normal speed. We won't curb your speed. There we go. And the one over at Bertha, I might as well leave you there because not been bringing boats back to Prometer. Might as well leave you there, and in a day or so we can bring back the LTAs, and that will be good. Yeah, okay, we can do that. Okay, so one of the things I'm on about is that on Prometer, under metals, under iron, there's a complete shortage of iron. So it's a matter of bringing as much metal as we can. You know what? Actually, saying that. Could you actually run out to WN599 Alpha? We'll bring extra set of 18 hours is great. What's the fuel cost on that? Yeah, the FTL. Okay, yeah, that's fine. I don't have to worry about running out of fuel when we get there. I'll send you off empty to WN. You pick up that extra iron, get some more iron onto the Prometer's market because I don't need the iron on Prometer because we don't use iron on Prometer really. But if the market's completely dry, we've got to help out get as much iron there as we can. That's me. Iron we sold early because I had a load in stock, so I dumped it on the market as fast as we could. Okay, so when that first ship with the iron arrives at Prometer, we'll drop off the iron and put it on the market straight away, and we'll pick up exoskeletons and we'll ship them to. We'll get 250 on board, and we'll ship those straight out to CR 911 Bravo and get your thing up to date. And we'll also make sure there's nothing else we need to send out that way as well because we've got the ability to send more stuff now the ships are empty, so that really helps out. When that's done, we build the polymer plants and then we can bring all these prefabs back to Prometer and start selling them or keep them in stock depending on what we're going to do with them. Anyway, we'll be back in a few moments when the polymer plants are ready. So that, although it's the day 13 there, that ship will be 14 hours away from Prometer. Once it arrives at Prometer, it will drop those off and do immediate turnaround, head off to CR. So it will probably be about a day actually, because you're going to be another 10 hours after that, so you're 24 hours ish. So we'll be about a day before we're here. So these the first ones of these will complete at the slower speed, and the rest will complete at a higher speed. not a problem with that overall. But we'll go and build the polymer plants next. We'll be back in just a few moments. Okay, so the first of the chlorines in, which is great. It means we can definitely start up with the new polymer plants. And in the meantime, our where are you hiding? Exoskeletons have been delivered, so we are good now. Well, we're at full speed now, so we're back up to 4 units. So let's go and build the thing. So the first thing to do is go to bases, the CR base, construction. Right, and we want to make sure we have the people available to do this. So we want to pop down polymer plants. The polymer plants, they are 10 and 25. We have enough capacity to bring in the settlers, but not enough to bring in the pioneers. So we definitely need to build a pioneer hub first. So pioneer hub, boop, there we go, and then polymer plant. Now put the first polymer plant down. There we go, that's good. And we can put a second polymer plant down. Yes, there we go. Second polymer plant is down. Now I can't build I could build the third one right now, but we don't have the chlorine in stock to run the third one. So let's just get this up and running. EPO is our primary target right now. And we'll just drop down 2 of those. So they'll produce 50 EPO each. So that's up EPOs up and running. And they only require 1 of each item. So I can't run a third because we just don't have the material. So I'm just going to queue up a whole bunch of EPOs for now at that level. There we go. Everything is working fine there. Now we've got the one halite is making enough to supply the chlorine. We don't have some. What are we missing to produce it? Is it actually the halite? Yes, the halite. So right now, because I've been running the halite on a bit lower, I've actually upped it to 16 units, so that should now be able to keep ahead of these, no problem at all. So we've got the halite coming in. The halite's been turned into salt and sodium and chlorine. The chlorine's getting converted along with other resources into EPO. The EPO base is now operational. Over the next few days, I will be expanding its capacity by adding extra polymer plants, extra chemical plants, until we get to the ratio of the extractor's limit. Once we get to the extractor limit, we have to evaluate the base and see if we're going to put another extractor in place and build up from that. We might not, because right now we have got loads of space left on the base, so we could build other stuff here as well if we need to. But we got the ability to do what we want. Might we put a weaving plant in here and build and make Kevlar and stuff? We don't know about that one yet, but we're there. The EPO base is now online over on CR911 Bravo. We are all good there. The WN599 Alpha is doing pretty well over there. The Bertha base is doing really nicely over there as well, and our Prometer base is also running really smoothly right now. Now we're getting to that point though where we're going to have to start looking at replacing some of the buildings. The production line condition is dropping fairly low. Overall we're maintaining at 96% thanks to the COGC programs, but that is going to start hitting us fairly soon. You see that over here we've got boosts from experts and stuff, so they can hold out a bit longer. The plan, I think, would be, I want to get rid of the smelter entirely. We don't need any more steel, we've got loads of steel. But I think the plan really is to replace all the rigs, all the food processors, all the farms, all the BMPs in one block. So say 1 week we replace the rigs, next week we replace the food processors, and do it like that, so their degradation is staggered. And do the same with Bertha. We'd have to do the same. Come up here, say the smelters are at 99%, so they're good. The prefab machines are at 99%, so they're good. Polymer plants are 100%, so they're good. So we'd have to replace those. The extractors should be a bit older. Yeah, they've dropped down in their output. Although we might leave those alone for a little bit. I'm not sure yet. But you get the idea. We can come up here and we can dismantle whatever we need to dismantle and move stuff around. The one that's going to be the problem for us is going to be WN, because WN has the where are you? I haven't got it on here anymore. WN has a requirement that we use Infofoam and sealant, and the Infofoam is damn expensive when you have to replace a base. I think that base costs like 200,000 to set up. It's a nice simple base. It comes with a lot of prefabs really cheaply, but damn, it's expensive to build on. So that's going to wipe out a lot of our cash just upgrading that base. But anyway, that's all there is for now though. The EPO base is up and running. which you'll be able to start selling the EPO relatively soon. We already have a buyer for it, that's great. So we're just going to get up and running. Alright, let me know what you think of the episode, what you think of the game, and what you think of the series as a general. But until next time, comments in the comments. Thanks for watching, and I will see you all next time. Bye!